Okay, we're back. I realized I didn't grab a hat this morning, but oh well. It's 6:45. I haven't had coffee yet, and as you can see, we've been kind of working at getting Persephone done here. Like I said, we're doing some previewing of some discs that I made for my kids, some songs they like. I built like 8 of these things last night, and hopefully they all play well. They got boom boxes here recently, so hopefully, I know the one boombox can play recorded discs okay. The other one is hit and miss. It plays some, it doesn't play others. So anyway, so we've been working off camera quite a bit on this, getting her ready. Her backpack assembly piece is now permanently affixed to the bodice as trying to take it out. I ended up breaking this clear piece, and I don't know if we can see the little crack that's in there. There is a crack in here inside the clear piece, which sucks because whenever you try to glue a clear piece, it gets foggy. And what I tried to do instead this time is I tried to just very, very lightly apply just the tiniest dab of glue in there, and it did fog just a little bit. I was able to scrape the fog away, and my wife has some of this Liquitex professional high gloss varnish that she uses for her doll making when she does her eyes. And rather than use the glue to hold the piece together, I applied several layers of that to both the outside and the inside. And it seems to be holding pretty well. It's made a nice little skin, so it's holding that in there really well. But these pieces here are very fragile, and when you're manipulating the kit, if you're a little too forceful with them, they will break. So they're only held in by this back one up, and getting it in there to begin with this kind of painting, especially once it's painted, it was really tight. And what ended up happening is I was trying to take, and as you can see, it doesn't quite sit as round now. This one's getting nice round outer, and this one's kind of flattened a little bit, but not much I can do that. It broke. What do you do? And all you can do is kind of try to react to it. Now that I pulled this one out, it's hard to get back in. Of course, I'm trying to get it to go in there and stay without breaking it, like no one broke. Anyway, so that happened, and when I had painted the pin going in here, once it got into her receiver in her back, it didn't want to come back out, and I was fidgeting with it, trying to get it, and it felt like the pin was going to break. And so, since I didn't want to deal with trying to fix yet another broken pin on this kit, I just went ahead and said screw it, and I glued it into place. So it's not going anywhere, but she still retains her mobility in other places and areas. I'm pretty sure her chest is pretty solid at this point because that inner pin broke there, which it's been a bit of a hassle. On her face, we've redone her eyes so that they're red instead of that light magenta color. It's not really easy to see now, but this piece had fog right here when we were gluing it in. And again, we just came back here, scraped some of the fogging away, added this Liquitex. I'll probably add another layer. I've added shadows to the hair so that she's got shadows and highlights in there. That's looking really good. Earlier on, we talked about there were supposed to be blue pieces in here, and we've chosen not to use them and to have it be the black so that it's got that nice flat intake look. So we're going to be getting into this light purple color here in just a few moments. We're going to do touch-ups on the light purple. We're going to probably paint maybe this armor plate purple, or maybe just the fin. I haven't fully decided. I know these inner pieces inside here are going to be the light purple. These rib cage pieces are going to be light purple. They're going to be the two little edges here. And then pretty much we've just got detailing and putting her back together to go. I got to clean up the dark purple in a couple places. Still have yet to paint a set of hands for her and work on her weapon, but it is very much underway, almost done, and we're getting there. So I'd like to get this clear coated today, at least her head, so that it just seems like every time I touch it wants to get marred up or fingerprints on the flat black, and just having to clean it and wash it and clean it and wash it. It's just a pain in the butt. So let's get right into it. Let's go ahead and get into the light purple, which is around here somewhere. Okay. Here's the dark purple. There's light purple. And again, this is the Premier Iced Lilac from Canadian Tire. So this paint's pretty good. Like with any paint, you can't work with it too fast. It does seem to have a pretty good curing time. Even after a few days in my basement, they're still sometimes a little tacky. And they're really, like, the lighter colors seem to use a little bit, they're a little thinner heavy. So if you're trying to brush paint with it, just kind of be mindful that you have to kind of rotate the paint, the wet paint wallets, so you can get the pigments out of the thinner as much as possible. I started using, I usually just use the caps, but I've started using actual, like, little plastic bowls for that kind of stuff. You can see I've got some flat black in here that's not dry yet. And here, as an example, we're talking about, this is the thinner, there's the liquidy stuff there in the bottom, and then your pigments are left behind. So you're just going to want to kind of rotate that. When you grab your pigments, you're going to have nice paint on the brush, yet it'll still be thin enough to work with, and it won't, it shouldn't blister or bubble your previous layers of paint. Sometimes it just happens when there's nothing to do about it. So let's get this getting shook up for a minute. And I've switched up from using, I used to use Pura here, my little creation made by my friend. I used to use her to hold up my paints, but I kind of switched that tactic up, and I'm using this little candle. I've got it a little bit more, got a better angle, a little more stable. The nice thing about working with spray paint is that it stays wet. It doesn't always show your brush mark very well. You almost exclusively rattle can and brush. People are very anti-rattle can. I notice in the modeling community that you want to do airbrush and I personally feel that you can achieve similar results, if not just as good results. I mean, the airbrush has only been around really for the last, you know, 20, 30 years in the modeling industry. Prior to that, everything was done by hand. And I think it's a bit of a lost art that people don't, they don't brush paint anything anymore by hand. And, you know, there's something to be said about the old masters when it came to pinstriping and detailing automotively, and it's things that, you know, it's not really done so much anymore. Everyone's switched to airbrush, and it does great results. Don't get me wrong. You got the control of a brush with the paint and fading effects that you can get, gradient effects that you can get with spray paint. But I don't know. It's a step I haven't ever taken a leap into something that you know, it's a new skill I'd have to learn. That you know, I've already got a skill that I'm happy with my results, and in order to take on a new one, so we're just adding that little bit of light purple to the side there, just to help tie that in. And other than that, we're going to keep the dark purple. We really like how that looks. We're just doing that one little piece on both sides, just to add that extra little bit of color into the set. And then her head is done for all intents and purposes after that. So that's basically done. We do have to do a little bit of touch of dark purple for her, but all right. So we are certain we're doing these rib cages. We're certain we're doing that, and the rest of this we're still kind of up in the air on. I don't know. Like I'm considering doing this little piece here going across and the under piece, just so that it brings that light purple into these fins. Been debating with painting the inner fin a different color, but I can't decide on what I want to do there. So we're just kind of holding off on that until I get to that point. So, It's getting kind of a little lost with like the two tone, but it's okay. Minutes on the other side. I'm gonna go ahead and write down those songs. Um, sorry, I think we should move that so I don't wander anything. These to do as well. Boots. Just gonna go ahead and do the whole thin purple on these for now. So I decided this hasn't really had much of a collision on it. They were all. This was an afterthought. It's actually the original color. And you will hear a lot of people say, we'll do lots of little light coats. And in this particular instance, where I have a base color here, I don't have primer on this piece. I also recommend that. But I still treat the piece as if it was primered. Just feather the paint over and over and over and over again. Keep it nice and light. Don't work with it too long or too much because spray paints do tend to start getting gummy after a good minute or two on the paint or on the piece. So this actually is, this piece we ended up using, this is her tail, or the end of her tail anyway. And the tail itself, you can really see here in a few minutes. It's paint other than the purple. I've tried to keep her being distracted by this. I decided I want to do all of her parts that would be essentially dragon or human parts, whatever you want to call it. In this case, again, I'm going to go with probably demon, just because she is essentially based on the lore of Persephone, which would be the wife to the god Hades, who rules the underworld. So I figured we'd go with that as our theory, origin, whatever you want to call that, backstory for why she exists. And anyway, I wanted to go with that kind of leathery, kind of skin wing. I think I broke my internet, or I broke my live chat. It looks like. Not sure if there's anything there. Okay, so those are now light blue. You can see we have these little differences as well. This one you can kind of get an idea what that fogging looks like with the glue in there. It's not quite as lustrous, and I might try adding some of that liquid text to that, but it really only works if you're doing it on the inside where the fogging was, so there's not much I can do about that. So how was this song? Oh, poor Lapis. I haven't really watched this show. Kids are into it. Wife was watching it pretty regularly with them, and I'd catch bits and pieces of the occasional episode now and then, and I'd have no idea what the hell's going on. Still have no idea what's going on. From what I gather, there's a pretty cohesive storyline, though. So even when I'm touching up, whenever there's a little bit of something, this was an example here. There's you can see these faded brush marks, and you can kind of use your finger to kind of help blend them in. And most of this will disappear with clear coat, so I'm not too worried about it on the flats. On the glossier colors, you'll sometimes see your brush strokes for your touch-up work, and one of the things you can kind of hide that is just feather it out of the piece, let the brush dry on there. And as it dries, you won't notice it. It might appear as a bit of a blemish before the clear coat, but once clear coat is on, you'll never see it. So that's kind of the way to deal with that. The wings still fold up nice and perfect for setting aside. We're just going to kind of go like that. Like that for now. I don't really know what to work on here. I don't know what I want to do. this. Not so better. It's got like that armature going on there. And just pick the surface though. No. show is coming to a close. Announced that they're not renewing any more seasons. This is the last season they're on. I think it's about time. The show has not been as good the last couple seasons. Now that everyone's essentially getting on with their lives and moving on, the show isn't become as, it's been a little bit less intriguing. The comedy's not been as great. The season where they had where Kaylee had cut her hair super short, I think was kind of the downfall. It really changed the look of her character quite a bit, and I know she was going through stuff in her personal life with her husband there at the time. But I don't know if that affected her acting ability, but it just seemed like she wasn't happy in her role. She just didn't look like Penny at that point. She looked like she was somebody else trying to be Penny. I guess that's what, but I mean, obviously, the same actress and everything, but it just didn't look great. Like she'd never really had the short hair, and aside from the fact that I have a preference for long hair on girls, that's maybe a little sexist or something. I don't know. I personally like the way it looks better. As far as hairstyles, maybe I'm traditional in that guys should have short hair and girls should have long hair kind of thing. But yeah, I didn't care for season. I think it's like season 7, 8, 9, and 10. They kind of got back to some of their brass roots, but it just still wasn't quite the same show. And I know that spin-off show, the Sheldon one, I haven't seen that, but I know it's some friends are part of that, and they said it's good, so check that out. But lately, I haven't really watched much TV at all. I've been trying to focus more on art and doing modeling and got back into that. Just don't really have time for TV when I'm doing this. Either at work or I'm half asleep on the couch because I've worked my ass off all day and I'm tired. Or I'm doing something that might kids. You got to ask a bit like grocery shopping and stuff. I'm just spend the whole day out together and do stuff like that. It's family. Okay. This kit, which is good. So this one, we're going to just do this edge on here, and these little fin pieces, light purple. That much we figured out already. Should probably I'd like to find somewhere to grab that, but I just don't have anywhere. I'll probably come back and line this stuff before I do the dark purple. Hi. Good morning. You're the one who's awake. Yes, dear.
This is your home.
This is my home. This is my desk.
Did you use paint?
Hmm?
Did you use
I am using paint. Yes, dear. Yes, dear.
Look at that paint. It's brown.
It is brown. It's kind of like a fleshy tone.
Kind of fleshy down.
Yeah, kind of look fleshy tone. Gotta be careful, baby. You're bumping me.
Going down.
Oh, there we go. That's gonna basically sit on her back. You can see just that little bit of that color. And that actually sits wings back here. Shit off the circles. You can tell I'm not eager to work on those pieces. I don't know what I'm painting yet. Yes, dear. Can you what? Go get a snack. Go ahead. We watch DWK. He's a YouTuber that does reviews of the My Little Pony episodes, and they're really good. They're really good. The guy, I don't know if he actually gets drunk and high when he does them, but he certainly writes into his skits that he does, and he brings up a very valid point when it comes to My Little Pony, and the question is asked, if Celestia is this all-powerful goddess being, how come she's never around when all the bad shit happens? How come she never actually steps in and does anything? She's just like a figurehead. She doesn't really ever do anything. Even in the movie, it's all Twilight and her crew that save everyone. And at the risk of sounding like a bit of a brony, even talking about this, my buddy, my best friend, kind of tends to give me a hard time about knowing as much as I do about My Little Pony and the characters and subplots and stuff. But truth be told, I got kids. Both of them are into it. My daughter and my son, and it's not a bad show. It's really not. I find a lot of times I'm shaking my head going, why? But definitely a lot of good positive morals for a kid growing up in this day and age. There's enough action and violence to keep boys interested as well as girls. But overall, the message, overall theme of the show is called Friendship is Magic. So, it's talking about bolstering friendships and relationships and being genuinely good people. And I think that's something that they can definitely take away from the show. Better than SpongeBob, better than Phineas and Ferb, or there's a lot of kids shows out there right now that I watch an episode or two with kids, and I'm just like, why are you watching this? Like, I'd rather you watch. For a while I was letting my daughter watch Sylvester the Talking Cat. He's also another YouTuber, lead singer of some band. I can't remember what it is, but he's got a couple cats and a dog, and he films them and then dubs over their voices, and it's cute. Like, the cat's funny. The problem is he is a bit of a rude asshole. And yes, Seraphim. What's up? I thought you were getting a snack. Chips are a snack, but chips aren't really a breakfast snack. Anyway, I forget where I was going with that. I know talking about kids programming and shows that are out there that kids have the ability to watch now, but let's talk about Sylvester. So she was allowed to watch Sylvester until about a week ago. She started acting like Sylvester, and while the show itself is pretty good, it's not appropriate for your 5-year-old daughter to walk up to you and go, "You're being a dick." And I wasn't being a dick at the time until after she said that, and so now she's not allowed to watch Sylvester Talking Cats, and I think there's a part of me that I wanted to laugh hysterically at the fact that my 5-year-old just called me a dick, and was kind of shocked and surprised and trying not to laugh, but I am a proponent of believing that kids do learn what they see. And if what they see is nothing but negativity and violence on TV, because that's what we're allowing them to be exposed to, then that's what they're going to learn. And I don't believe that video games or television or entertainment can actually shape who you are as a person. I believe that's about choices. And I think everyone has a choice to act or be a certain way. I don't think playing violent video games makes you a violent person. I don't believe that playing games like Grand Theft Auto or games like Call of Duty where you're just running around shooting people, I don't believe that makes you anything more than what you already are. If you're already the kind of person who wants to rob, rape, pillage, and steal, I guess robbing and stealing are about the same, but you know what I mean, in that effect, if you want to do those kinds of things, you're going to do those kinds of things, and if you can do it in a controlled environment like a video game and not go out in the real world and do those things, then great. That's good that those things exist. It's where you have to draw that line that what is acceptable and what is not acceptable, what is okay and what isn't okay. And I think that I think video games are a great outlet. I think they're a great way for people to express themselves and get involved in something. It's when they become a controlling aspect of their lives. When a person doesn't do anything but play video games, they just sit and don't shower, bathe, eat, go to the washroom regularly. That's where there's obviously an issue. So, I think with everything there's a moderation aspect. I don't begrudge anyone who likes to drink, anyone who likes to smoke dope, anyone who does any kind of drug. You want to do that, that's your business. Just as long as it's not affecting your overall well-being, as long as it's not affecting your life and the people around you. If you can control rather than letting it control you, then that's the most important. And I think kids' television is the same way. If I can't take my kid away from SpongeBob without her throwing a fit, then there's a problem there. And shows like Dora, I think they're good to a degree, but I think they also dumb down. I think they play to the unintelligence of children as well. Like Stephen Blue, for instance. My daughter loves Blue's Clues, and while it's a good show, don't get me wrong, it's been running for years, and I guess now it's Joe and Blue, it's not Stephen Blue anymore. While it does have some educational properties, one of the things that I really don't like about the show is the interactiveness, where Steve pretends for a good 20 seconds or so that he can't find the clue. It's like he's basically saying a child is more perceptive than he is. He's walking through a room, there's a blue carpet, and he's the only one who can't see it. Yes, sir, fam. May you please eat chips? Go get the chips and show me the chips you want to eat. Show them to me, and I'll tell you if you can eat them or not. Apparently, she's the only one awake right now, and she wants my attention, so I'm going to probably have to stop here pretty quick if nobody else gets up. Which might fit in, because we're about an hour into this video anyway. So maybe I'll finish this booster fin, and I'll get myself a cup of coffee, get her squared away, make sure that she's satisfied. Apparently she's starving. And we'll probably take a little 5-minute break and be back. There's a piece of nub on there that I must have missed when I was setting it. It's on both sides. I'll fix it later. Yes, sir. It is. I made some CDs for you and Shady last night while you guys were sleeping. So you have new music in your rooms. So you'll have some Steven and some My Little Pony. I even downloaded some new My Little Pony songs for you. Oh, you want the barbecue ones? Yeah, go ahead. You can eat those. I think they're yours anyway.
That one is a Luffy.
This one's not Ruby. You should know this one.
Bolt.
It is Bolt.
And it's not a Luffy.
It is a movie. In fact, this song is probably going to get my video flagged. Because it's Disney.
No, it's not Disney.
Oh yeah, it is. It's Disney. It's going to get me flagged, I bet. Ow! Shit. Whoa, look out! What?
The batteries are dead.
Yes, those batteries are actually good. I have to replace the batteries in my lamp because I accidentally left it on last night. Watch out! So usually, you can apply a second coat approximately 15 minutes after your first coat. Sometimes you can't. Sometimes it will actually peel or bubble the previous layer. And then you want to cry because that's ruined the piece completely, and then you have to come back and sand it and try to clean it all up. And that sucks. Anyway, so yeah, as a parent with two kids that I want to raise into responsible adults, I find that I prefer them to watch.
Is trying to eat on my chip.
I prefer them to watch shows that actually help build their character rather than ones that make them feel unintelligent or unimportant. And Shade's trying to eat all your chips. How's he trying to eat all your chips? You're hugging them like they're a teddy bear. So you're awake now too? Yeah, okay. Well, you guys just give me a few minutes, share your chips, because I'll come up and I'll make some eggs or something for breakfast. Well, then you can starve. Or have leftover pizza. I don't really give a shit. We gotta go to the grocery store today. So yeah, that's on the agenda. I was hoping to get all of this light purple done before everyone woke up, but evidently my plan of getting them up with me every morning for work so that we can all have breakfast together before I rush off and they can start getting ready for school is backfiring on the weekends. They're waking up earlier than I expect. Normally they don't get up on weekends till around 8:39, which is why I'm trying to do these early morning streams, because it's really the only time I have to myself. And it looks like I might be losing that, so whoops. Bad job me. Okay, so that's the end of that first disc. Switch discs. We're just going to call it going to be 73 minutes. The disc has been playing. I started that just before I started the stream, so that's a pretty decent amount of time. Yeah. What do you do? Shit. Hey guys, you don't mind eating your pizza cold, you can get it out of the fridge and eat it that way. If you want it warmed up, you'll have to wait for me though. I'm sitting here talking about TV shows and parenting, and then I'm offering to let them have pizza and chips for breakfast. That's a little contradictory, I guess, but no, I'm a little busy doing something I wasn't planning to get up and do breakfast for them just quite yet. I do have plans for breakfast. As she just mentioned, he doesn't want what I want to make for breakfast, so I guess I would have to make other accommodations anyway. So that looks like it's probably right. So can do the other side. They're able to self-sufficiently handle themselves for a few more minutes. Maybe I can get a little bit more done. I don't feel like I haven't accomplished anything this morning. I have to work on this thing. Obviously, work a bit of it off camera. I don't want to get too far ahead of everyone. I want to be able to do most of this on so I see the progress. And like I said, I'm sure it's really fun watching somebody paint something, but you see my brush is pretty tiny. And we'll compare it to around top of brush. Actually, yes. So it's basically smaller than the tip of a toothpick. Probably 12 hairs in there, maybe. Not a lot. I don't really use big brushes on model kits, mostly because of the scale and they're very small. But also because I feel like I have better control with a small brush. And I work with small stuff anyway, like even my micron pens. I use the 005, and it's a 20th of a millimeter. So it's pretty small. And that's what I do my line art with when I do my drawings. And then I'll build up from there. I'll go to a 10th of a millimeter, and then to half a millimeter. I'll use like the thicker line. I'll do like when I'm doing, if I'm gonna be doing any digital background or anything like that on a piece, what I'll do is I will I'll do the really solid fat outline with like a 0.8, which is almost a millimeter thick. And that way, when I import the image into the computer, I can just crop the background out relatively easy. And if I want to make that line disappear, then I simply just select by the outside layer and then grow it. Again, you're allowed to grow your selection by cells. So I grow it by one cell, and then I take and move it so that that outer line gets a little thinner. Perfect. That's good. Very nice. Don't worry there for a second. I'll be shaky. Okay. Sometimes if there's a piece that I know is not really going to be seen very well, I'll just put it on a little thick if it doesn't get done on the first coat very well. Or if there's a little bit of a blemish like left over from the glue. I don't really, I'm not too worried about it. I'd rather get a good coverage of paint or not have to come back and paint it either. Just don't want to grab her right now. I don't want to grab her by those plastic pieces. Okay, let's do that. There we go. Found out last night that I can't eat bread products anymore. I swear them off, literally. Picked up a couple pizzas for the kids, and I had 2 slices of pizza with some clam chowder. Woke up this morning, my foot just, or not even this morning, before I went to bed, my foot was ballooning up with a little bit of a gout flare up. So I'm just gonna have to swear that off. There's just no more bread for me. What are you guys doing? Yeah, you guys can have some pizza. I said, can you not get out of the fridge? Did you get Sarah a slice? Well, there's only one piece of cheese, plain cheese left, and you know that one's yours. So, I mean, you pretty much know what kind of pizza she's going to get then. Process of elimination, my buddy. So yeah, that's great. I'm pretty happy about that. So we'll come back and line art that, and then this is somewhere back here. Shade's gonna make you grapple juice? Lucky duck? Did she say grapple? I'm casually. Yeah, I'm just avoiding those. Alright. I'm gonna take a quick break here, get some coffee, make sure these guys are all set up. Maybe get them going with a movie or a TV show or something so nobody wakes up so they're not making too much noise. And I'll be back. Hope this has been a somewhat enjoyable video. Like I said, watching paint dry. I'm sure it's a lot of fun. And yeah. Just cleaning my brush here. Okay. So we're going to end that one, and we'll be back in just a bit.